He's Rob Hunter. I'm Mike Russell. Joining us is Congressman Andy Biggs. Congressman, the President of the United States is out running around today. A couple of his claims that were absolutely fantastic. I'd love to get your opinion on. First was that gas prices were over $5 a gallon when he took office, and that wages are rising more than inflation. Can you fact check the President of the United States, Congressman Biggs?
Yeah, so I think he got confused on the gas thing. He was really thinking of a triple scoop at the B&R. That's what he was thinking of. That was over $5. That was over $5. Yeah, no, I mean, this guy, the truth is not in him. And, I mean, he's been that way for 50 years, 60 years, whatever it is, in office. And people excuse it. People excuse it. Why? Because he does that left-wing agenda. That really gets him excited about that. So,
but this
what can you say?
What's so different, I think, Congressman Andy Biggs, is this departure from reality that President Biden and Leader Schumer in New York, they just don't seem to want to talk about reality because reality makes them look bad. So is this just the Democrat strategy to just grit and bear it, get through November 8th, reassess, and then see what happens, what kind of mood the American people are really in?
Well, I mean, that's too thoughtful, what you're doing, I think, what you're suggesting.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's much more like they know that they're out of step with the American people. I mean, here's some of my Democrat colleagues in Congress are saying we're just not far enough out there, and the American people are just further out than we are, and that's just nuts, of course. So they think that if they go further left, the country will go with them, and that's just not going to happen. Not going to happen at all.
Congressman Andy Biggs joining us. Congressman, if you can help us out, I believe I have this map, this play by the Democrat Party, especially the Biden White House, claiming that if there is in fact a red wave and the Republicans take control of the House and the Senate, that they are going to, you are in your party, going to make it worse. I think that is just projecting that he understands, or the Biden White House and his handlers understand, that the economy is like inflation. It is now structural, and it's going to get worse. They just were ready for someone to blame with the whole "I told you so" before 2024. How far off am I?
No, I think you're right. I think there's two components. Number one is they always look for a scapegoat, and they always project onto everybody else what they have done. So they're looking for that person to blame out there. But never forget this, that the Democrats, they're the party of fear. They're very, very afraid, very, very nervous. I mean, Katie Hobbs is very, very, very nervous, can't debate anybody, doesn't want to do that. Joe Biden is very, very afraid that if Republicans win, that something bad is going to happen. And that's what they're doing. They're projecting fear constantly. And what we're saying, what Republicans are saying, is something like, hey, guess what? We think we have some solutions. We would like to try to implement those solutions because we just don't want to keep going down this way that the Democrats are going. And so let's talk about how we could, maybe if we opened up our oil and gas exploration and pipeline and refinery industries, maybe we'd lower the gas tax or the gas cost. And if we lowered the cost of gas, guess what? That would take the overall cost of goods down by about 40% within 3 months. We think we could do that, provided that the Democrats don't get in the way. And they're just trying to, I think, project fear and distract us from all the garbage that's going on.
Well, that's, I think, what's so apparent, Congressman Andy Biggs. The Democrats really want to hang on to power by any means necessary, and that means all integrity goes out the window. So you started talking policy prescriptions. Best case scenario, Republicans, you guys, control the House and Senate, not the White House. So what is feasible to think can get done to help us with the economy, lowering inflation, getting maybe some money out of the economy by adding some provisions like Congressman David Schweikert wants to take some money out. You can invest it, put it in an IRA, tax-free. What's the realistic chances with Republican control of the Congress that good economic policies get done?
Well, I mean, you have to believe that if we use the leverage appropriately, and there are leverages there. So you have the National Defense Authorization Act. I mean, you can do some things with that. You have the 12 budget bills that are supposed to pass. So if you do that, then you can put in there things like what David's talking about, which is a no-cost IRA. You could do things like eliminate the 87,000 new IRS agents and the funding for that. You could go through and line item your budget. So you would say things like, we're not going to give you money for this, the woke drag festival down in Ecuador that the State Department's been sponsoring.
That's true?
You go through and start. That's true.
Oh, my God.
What?
You didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
No, we didn't know that.
Breaking news here on Russell and Hunter from the congressman.
Yeah. No, they're spending money down in Ecuador to do a drag queen program down there.
Is that the root causes that Kamala's talking about with migration? Yeah.
That's gonna. I think she felt like the immigration flow had slowed down enough that she needed to stimulate it again by doing the drag queen stuff down in Ecuador. So a flood of Ecuadorians would be coming our way. But listen, that's how you do it. You take and you leverage these bills that are a budget bill, and then people say, "Well, you're gambling with shutting down the government." No, we're going to provide fixes here, and we're going to give it to the president. And if the president wants to fix the economy, he can sign into this legislation. If he wants to continue on, he's going to continue on. The other thing you can do is you've got basically $1 trillion of fraud from the COVID relief packages that have been flowing out there. So you've got to recapture that. You have to go after that. And one of the ways you do that is you have to have oversight in your committees and bring people in and hold their feet to the fire and inspire them to go out and recollect some of the. So you start taking money out of the economy that way too, because that's fraudulent money. That's just money that's floating around that people have stolen from future generations and this generation.
So, Congressman Andy Biggs, when you take over the House and the Senate, how do you not fall into the trap? Because the fixes that you're discussing, I'm sure, will be easily spun by the Democrats as the Republicans taking something away from we the people or hurting we the people in some way, shape, fashion, or form. How do you stay away from those traps and keep public opinion on our side through 2024?
You have to talk about it nonstop, constantly. Get out there. They're going to control the narrative because they're going to have the wicked, evil left-wing media, and so you just have to have the courage. Our leadership. I mean, this is why our leadership means a lot. Our leadership has to have the courage to say we are going to fix this as best we can while you have Joe Biden in the White House. And don't forget, it's an oligarchy up there. We don't really know if Biden's running anything or if he's just sucking down a peanut butter brickle. And you
Yummy.
just don't know. and so but we have to do everything we can and message it every way we can. It's going to be 24/7, hard work for the next 2 years. But if we don't try and do something, then even the people that trust us now are going to lose faith, and nothing good will happen in 2024.
That's a good way to put it. Congressman Andy Biggs, are you optimistic about 12 days from now, Election Day, that we're going to see a Republican House and a Republican Senate come 2023?
I am, actually. I believe that I still think that Republicans in the House pick up probably about 27 seats, which leaves an 18-seat majority. And then in the Senate, I think they pick up anywhere from 3 to 5 seats, so it ends up looking 53-47 or 55-45 even.
Congressman Andy Biggs, always appreciate your time, appreciate your insight, and appreciate you doing what you're doing.